Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to our 100 films in 100 days series. We're still on our little rom-com kick for the time being, and today I wanted to kind of stray a little bit away from the romance and go a little bit more towards the comedy. This is a movie that has multiple weddings in it, though, so it is by every means a rom-com. I'm pretty sure that the relationships are actually one of the least important details of it. We're going to be watching the movie Bride Wars. Once again, I'm watching this the last day that it's on Netflix, so if you want to watch along with me, I don't know where you'll be able to find it, and I am very sorry about that. But that being said, I'm insanely excited about the movie. Once again, we got Kate Hudson in here. I absolutely love her. I think she's awesome. We also have Anne Hathaway, who is phenomenal. I love her. She was a really good Catwoman. I haven't seen that many Anne Hathaway movies. I gotta work on that. She's an actress I definitely should be watching a lot more of because she's awesome and she absolutely rocks. But that being said, I'm gonna go watch this movie, and I'll be back with my initial reaction, thoughts, and review.
Dun, 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 dun. 100 films in 100 days.
Okay, so overall, I actually really enjoyed that movie. I think that this movie is a whole lot of fun. I feel like I could see this movie has definitely inspired a lot of other movies that have came out since it. There was one that came out last year called like You're Cordially Invited or something like that, which was Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell, and they kind of had a similar thing where like, oh no, we both booked the same wedding venue, and then they had like a bunch of arguments and fights and stuff about it. I really like the way that this movie handles all of the conflicts and stuff. I think that they do a really good job. And something that I really like about this movie that I think is really impressive and kind of a big standout thing about this movie is Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway who really react and are in scenes together for maybe about like 20 minutes throughout this almost 2 hour long movie. And for every single time that they share the scenes together, they're so great together and their chemistry works so well together that they convincingly play people who have been lifelong friends so well that even though they aren't shown on screen that much, you fully 100% buy into the fact that they are best friends, and you fully buy into the fact that they know each other better than anyone. So whenever they start doing these like hijinks things and things to blackmail one another, you can really feel kind of the years and years of knowledge that they have of each other's, like, you know, mannerisms and everything, that they know, oh, okay, yeah, I can start sending her random chocolates and goodie baskets, and she's going to eat them up because that's how she is. She just always can't really control herself, and she knows her that well because, you know, they're besties. They have always been each other's closest friends, and that's why it's so easy for them to be able to kind of trick each other, is because they know each other better than anyone else. And I love that. I think that that's incredibly fun, and I like that this conflict comes from something that is outside of the actual relationship and friendship, and it just kind of like spirals out of control and out of control. And there's a lot of miscommunication tropes throughout this movie, and I think for the most part they all work relatively well. And I just think that overall this movie does a really good job of kind of hyping up how stressful planning a wedding can be, and how like 3 months when you're engaged and you're quickly turning around and having a wedding, that's a really fast time. I'm about that age where some of my friends are starting to get engaged and stuff like that. I have a friend who they've been engaged for like a year and their wedding is not until like the end of this year. So it's like, to get engaged and then within 3 months get married, there's so much stuff that needs to go into that, and so much stress and so much pressure. And then you add on the extra pressure of the fact that your best friend is getting married the same day and you guys are trying to outdo each other. That's a lot. And I think that this movie does a really good job of kind of finding that balance of like, are they being too evil towards each other, and are they just kind of doing this fun little banter? And it works really well. And I think that it also ramps up very well because they start off doing very like little minor things like, okay, we're gonna race to see who can be the first person to send out our save the dates, and okay, then we're gonna try to figure out, you know, who can wear this dress, which is really cute, and who could do this and who could do that. And I like it. All the little conflicts throughout this movie feel very natural and earned. And I like the fact that even though the main conflict obviously is between these two brides, we also get to see their two relationships and how they kind of parallel one another. And we have Kate Hudson's relationship where her husband is somebody who's super patient, super in love with her, knows every detail about her, can kind of like make sure that she always feels comfortable and safe and like she's in good hands, versus Anne Hathaway's love interest, who kind of doesn't fully get her anymore. And he's kind of just like somebody who loved her once upon a time and has just kind of like held on to her this entire time, and they've never really grown as a couple. And I really like that we get to see those both sides of it, because the romance isn't really the big story here. It's not that important, as, you know, they're best friends and their friendship is the central relationship of this film. But I do like how they're able to really build upon those two relationships throughout this film, and how they're able to end this movie with Anne Hathaway kind of realizing that, like, she did kind of settle for the love interest that she has in this movie. And I really like the fact that them as best friends having this little competition was able to kind of remind them of who they are at their core, which is obviously best friends because they make up in the end and everything is totally fine and dandy. But also, you know, one of them is very serious. They have a very strict schedule. They have a bigger, more important job. They have so much stuff going on, and they're very like confident and self-actualized? Is that it? I have no idea. I'm trying to talk about Kate Hudson's character. I'm trying to talk about how she's like very professional and she really knows herself incredibly well, versus Anne Hathaway's character, who kind of lets people walk over her. She's too nice for her own good, and she's literally about to marry a guy that she doesn't necessarily love and doesn't necessarily treat her right because, you know, they've just been together for so long that it just feels like the right thing to do and it feels incredibly natural. And so I really like the way that they're both able to kind of use this kind of back and forth that they're having with each other to kind of like eye open, hey, these are kind of some of the worst parts of myself, and here's some of the best parts of myself. And they ultimately end up working on themselves throughout this film as well. So I really liked it. I think that it was a really good time. And I really like the fact that there's multiple love stories once again, because that's something I love about rom-coms. Obviously, rom-coms can work with just two couples that are the main couple, but I do like there being multiple relationships going on at the same time. So you can kind of see that parallel and see like, oh, this is how every relationship is different, and it kind of doesn't paint a picture of, oh, well, in order to fall in love you need to do this thing, or oh, in order to fall in love you need to do that thing, because sometimes it's not that simple. Every relationship is going to be different, and this movie paints that picture really well. So overall, I can't say if I think this movie's overrated, underrated, or in the middle, because I've literally never heard anybody speak of it ever, but I would say it's a pretty solid movie. So it's pretty good. If people, you know, say it's in the middle of the road, I think they're wrong. It's great. It's one of the better ones that I've seen. If I was to have like a tier list or something, this would probably go in the A tier. Not the S tier, not the B tier, the A tier. It's good. It's top notch. But that being said, if I was to give this movie a grade on a scale of 1 to 100, I'd give this movie probably a solid 84. It's really good. I think that it does a good job with being the right amount of time, and it montages through things that feel like they need to be montaged, but then it really takes its time with some of the smaller little details, and they really build up the friendship, like I said, really quickly in a short amount of time, and it works really, really well, because even though they're both off doing their own things and they're completely separated for the majority of the film, you still really feel the underlying just vibes of their friendship and how their friendship is kind of dictating every decision that each other makes. It's awesome. It's really good. But yeah, so that being said, that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow, bow, bow.